Hey guys, this is Zach with HPM. Today I want to lead you through a 15-minute movement routine so you can follow along with me as we go through this. This is meant for you to be able to utilize anywhere. We will not be getting on the ground, so you can do this in work groups, follow along at home, whatever you'd like to do. First, I'd like to start out with just breathing, nice and easy. Put hand on stomach, hand on chest. We're going to take just 5 deep breaths. And we don't want to get carried away with exhaling since we're standing right now. But we want to make sure we're breathing into the stomach. Exhale through the mouth. I'm going to do this 5 times. More. And last one. Okay, now we're going to move into our core exercises. If you remember the 2 basic principles, stabilize the low back, move at the hips. That's what we're trying to do throughout this whole time, get better at those things. If you have not seen the videos on the basic principles for safe movement, go back and view those. Otherwise, just follow along with me here. So first one, we're going to do a plank. You can do this on an elevated surface or on the ground. And we want to utilize that breath again. Nice, good, forceful exhales. 3 to 5 breaths. Good, and relax. Now we're going to go into a side plank. You can also do this on an elevated surface as well or on the ground. We want to really work on getting a good canister position with the rib cage and pelvis stacked. So in all these core exercises, really prioritize position and utilize the breath to help get the core engaged and to help position yourself. We want good alignment all the way from toe to head. Again, about 3 to 5 breaths, and then go ahead and switch sides. Good, and relax. Last core one we're going to do is a variation of a plank. You can also do a bird dog instead if you'd rather, if you know how to do a bird dog. But we're going to go back into that plank position and then just lift one leg up. And we want to keep the low back in the exact same position. Again, 3 to 5 breaths. And then switch legs. Okay, next thing we're going to do is go into the squat. So you can utilize the back of your chair, another elevated surface if you'd like, or you don't need to use anything at all, up to you and your ability level. But we want to be able to get deep into that squat position, and then holding on to something is going to help us maintain that position. We want to get nice and comfortable in this position. And even if you're just hovering at this point, that's completely fine. Go down as far as you feel comfortable, and we don't want to be in any pain. So go as far as you feel comfortable, and think of this as a skill. And over time, as you practice it, you'll get better and better. We want to really focus on the bottom part of the squat, not necessarily doing a million squats. We want to have the mobility to be able to get into the deep squat position. Take nice big breaths as you're down here. You could even rock side to side if you'd like. Some of you aren't going to be able to keep your heels down on the ground. That's completely fine. Some people, their ankles are the reason why they can't get into the deep squat. We'll cover that in a later video. If you are one of those people and your heels are coming off the ground, you can elevate it by putting a 2x4 or something under your heels. Otherwise, you can go down and try and keep the heels on the ground. Okay, next one we're going to do is our overhead movement. We're going to be nice and tall. Use that out breath to help position yourself. Now we're just going to go up, reach overhead, and then we're actually going to go back. So we're including extension and the overhead movement. We're stabilizing the low back, moving at the shoulders. You could hang out in the end range position. Take a couple breaths. Go the other end range position. And relax. Next thing we want to do, want to practice is the hip hinge. So get good athletic stance, hip or feet about hip width apart. Want to stabilize the low back, move at the hips. So use that out breath. Position your rib cage and pelvis. Maintain that position as you push the hips back and come forward. We want to be really strong in this position, like we're going to jump or pick something up. This should be a very, very strong position that we want to practice. Kind of relate this to a slingshot. You should feel the hamstrings tighten up as you push those hips back to produce force forward. So load that slingshot up and be able to stand up. And the whole time you're prioritizing moving at the hips and keeping the spine in the same position. All right, relax. So now we're going to do shoulder rotation. Get the shoulders in a good position. Use the out breath to position yourself. And then we want the hands just to the side of the body. We're moving at the shoulder. Hang out in the out position. Take some breaths. And relax. All right, next one we're going to do, we're going to work on marching. So we want to, again, use that out breath. And you could use the arms as well, kind of like you're sprinting. We're just going to shift side to side, try and get the leg up as high as you can without compromising by moving at the low back. So we want to stay nice and tall as we switch sides. Hold for 5 to 10 seconds. Relax. Next, we want to go into push and pull. So we want to be able to reach out as far as you can. Remember, we're trying to move at the shoulders. Reach out as far as you can. Pull the shoulders back as far as you can. Reach and pull. We want to avoid shrugging up with the shoulders as we do this and rotating that shoulder forward as we do this. We want to be able to pull that shoulder back and move it forward. And relax. Next one we want to work on is the lunge. So I recommend holding on to something if you need to, just like we did with the squat. Want a one leg behind, one leg forward, nice and tall. Be able to drop down, stand back up. Go down as far as you feel comfortable. You might not be able to get that knee all the way to the ground. That's okay. Remember, movement is a skill. The more that you practice it, the better that you get at it. Switch sides. Good. Last one that we're going to do is basically a combination movement. We're basically going to see 3 different movements in there. We're going to have a squat, hip hinge, and some rotation involved in this movement. What you want to do is get feet however wide you need to squat. So feet however wide you need to squat, usually about shoulder width apart. We're going to go down, touch the toes. Take a couple breaths. Go down into the deep squat. Take a couple breaths. And then rotate. Look over your shoulder. Rotate to the other side. Good. And then repeat. So we'll do this one more time. Doing the toe touch, taking a few breaths. Sink down into the deep squat. Rotate. Rotate. And then stand up. That is it for today. Thank you guys for joining us. Remember that movement is a skill. We're trying to get really good at stabilizing the low back, move at the hips and shoulders. So utilize this time to get better at that. Thank you.